Hi everyone, I'm Apollonia Ponti, your dating and relationship coach, and I have a special video for you today. In this video, we're going to talk about how to manifest love and enhance your relationships. And I'm joined by the wonderful Diana Palm. She is listen to this, a psychic medium. Did I say that right? A medium?
Yep.
Okay. I feel like it's the same thing, so I incorporate both of them together. But she also helps women manifest love into their lives or in a current relationship that you are with now. She comes from an enormous amount of background and stuff that I am really love, and I'm so happy to have you on this channel because of the fact that you can offer something more than what I can offer, and you help also women and men that have dealt with a death of a loved one, and also speaking to their loved one or helping them get into the light, which is a beautiful thing. You know, she is an author and a healer, Diana. She's an author and a healer who specializes in manifestation through reprogramming the subconscious mind and the theta brainwave. Once Diane intuitively connects with clients, she can also see what's causing the issue to help you shift in other levels that basically are in your conscious or your subconscious levels that it might be hidden. And I'm so happy that she's here because, as you know, I love to do a lot of products about manifestation. I talk about this a lot. And I also love the fact that it's so important that we send out this message because it's something that I've incorporated in my life and I incorporate in clients' lives to help them find love. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I love your channel. I love your advice and your relationship coaching. So it's awesome to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I wanted to give the viewers really an overall explanation about manifestation. You, the viewers that are watching, I'm going to, in this video, we're going to discuss about what manifestation is, if probably you don't know about it and this is your first time here. Also, how you can incorporate it in your life and maybe address some questions that I usually have and Diana usually has with her clients, and incorporate this in the video. We look forward to your comments, and we'll both comment below, and we'll both answer your comments below. Now, if you haven't subscribed, I would like to take this opportunity to remind you to subscribe to this channel, because this is a channel where you can get the up-to-date, most amazing love, relationship, and dating advice. And also, like, you know, I do have a spiritual twist, and that's why we're here today. So if you haven't subscribed, take the chance to subscribe right now. And Diana's channel, I'll also put in the description box below, so you can go ahead and visit her and subscribe as well. Now let's get started. Now, I want to just talk about what manifestation, what is manifestation to you?
Well, we are manifesting all the time. Like, human beings are manifesting machines. So without even thinking about it, you've already been manifesting your entire life. And normally what people don't realize is that we mostly manifest on the subconscious level. So when we're purposefully manifesting, we're using our conscious mind and we're trying to bring about a desired result. But if we have a lot of things in the background in our subconscious mind that are contradictory to that, it's not going to happen. So what we need to find is we want to make sure that the subconscious is aligned with the conscious. And simply what that means is, you know, knowing what is in your subconscious mind and being able to clear that so that you can actually navigate your path very easily and on purpose manifest what you'd like.
Yeah. And that's so important because a lot of people think, you know, manifestation is just something that is either non-existent because it's just something that's made up. But one of the biggest things is like the law of attraction of what I talk about. So with clients, I always talk about the law of attraction to kind of make it simplify the process a little bit easier. And, you know, everything like is like. So if we didn't have feelings, like for instance, if I didn't love Rocky Road ice cream, I had no attraction to Rocky Road ice cream, then I would not have an attraction to anything, right? So I don't have attraction to the Rocky Road ice cream. I don't have attraction to men, or even some of the viewers, if they're, you know, interested in women, whatever it is, there's an attraction. So that's the law of attraction. Another thing that I love is, you know, the universe, I always say that the universe is ruled by natural laws. For example, like when we created airplanes and electricity, it all came from an idea, right? It all sprung from an idea. And once it sprung from the idea, we were able to fly planes, and then we invented electricity, we invented airplanes, and it stemmed from a vision, it stemmed from an idea, and it stemmed from a belief, because the beliefs were in harmony with the natural laws. So we created it, right? So if you think about it, like I always tell clients, if you think about this thousands and thousands of years ago when electricity wasn't even invented, and when flying an airplane wasn't invented, and I could say, in so and so amount of years, we're going to be able to travel all around the country because of someone's idea and they invent the airplane. No one probably would have believed it because they didn't see it, but one person had that vision, and that's why we were able to create it.
Absolutely. I feel like whatever we actually believe in and put our energy into, the universe will find a way to bring that to us, whether it's new information, a new invention, or something else that will align with it. But most of us are trying to manifest just happier lives, or more love, or more money, or more comfort. We're not even stretching as far as creating a new flying machine. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, so it's like the other stuff should be fairly easy, right?
Right? I know. It's so true. I love that you said that, because that is so, so true. But it's not, you know, and that's the thing, because it's not, because with the love and manifestation, I believe in manifestation in all aspects when it comes to life, when it comes to money. But I do believe, and correct me if you have different belief, but I believe that when you manifest love, it's completely different. The way that you manifest is completely different, because when it comes to love, there's an inner work that has to be done. So like you have your inner work, for example, when I say different, you know, if you're trying to manifest money, you have to cut the ties of maybe some past things that have happened in your life or your ancestors' life and their relationships with money. But in love, you have to do the same thing, or things that you've had in your relationships happen to you, or even with your mother, your ancestors. There's things that come up incorporated into your life now. And I feel like when it's about love, it's looked at differently because of the way that you have to go about doing the inner work internally within yourself. And that's what is really, that speaks volumes to me when I discuss manifestation.
Yeah. And I find like when I'm working with people on manifesting love, and I actually have a course set up for that helps people empty out their heart and heal their resentments, find their purpose for the difficult things they went through, like what was the lesson. Then they can actually move into gratitude for the crappy relationship they endured,
Yeah.
which is really helpful. You want to shift it, you know, because as long as you have that baggage, that unhealed stuff, that gets in the way of new love. It taints it, and it brings in a lower vibration. So you're absolutely right, Apollonia. We need to heal that stuff. It's inner work. We want to move through that. It's not like you can just sit there totally unhealed and manifest in a perfect love, because you're not ready for it. You haven't done the internal work to make space for that kind of love. So that's very, very important.
Exactly. And I want to get into, I want to help our viewers and really get to the starting point of how to manifest love, how to cultivate it into their relationships if they're in a current relationship, how to incorporate manifestation practices into their love life. And we're going to talk about that today. So hold on tight. But I do want to just read something, because I want our viewers to understand the process of manifestation. And some of them, and I've noticed, because working with thousands of clients, people can be intuitive processors, but some people need the factual, the data, the things like that. And I actually just wrote about blog. I haven't published it on my website, but I want to read a part from my blog here in the video, and I'll put the link of this blog in the description box below. But before we move on, I wrote this part in the blog, and it means so much to me because it really incorporates what manifestation really is, I feel like, and here goes. Law of attraction holds every star in the universe, the planets in which surround us, our cells within our body, the oceans to separate land or thoughts towards our actions, the bees that are attracted to flowers, everything. The force is what holds us together. We are all attracted to different things, places, people, taste, and we desire the attraction of love in all ways. Attraction is the force that draws people together, animals together, groups, nations, communities, common interests, and the love in which we desire. So as the power of now, the book explains what the force of attraction is, and the force all around is love. Attraction is love, and that's what's so important. So when you feel an attraction to your favorite food, like I was saying, or your feeling of love for food, without attraction, we wouldn't feel anything. So we wouldn't be able to create a desire for anything. So that means that everything around us would be non-existent. So here is another important note that I want to mention about the law of attraction before we move on is the universal term is the law of attraction, and this means like attracts like. What that means is what we give out, you receive back. So whatever you give out in life is what you receive back in life. This means your thoughts, emotions, feelings, actions, and beliefs. So the key to all of this is awareness. And you create your life with your thoughts and your feelings because you are the magnet, you are the driver of your life. So I think that's great for me to say, to go into the feelings and how we start the process and all that.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about how manifestation can be incorporated into love. Did you want to start with that, or?
Well, sure. So this is a feeling universe. Everyone's probably heard that by now, which simply means that you need to have the feeling in place before you can activate the law of attraction. And so that's why if you're trying to manifest a new car, it's really important to actually go and test drive the exact car that you're trying to manifest, so you can get a feeling inside your body for what it feels like to sit in the seat, to hold the steering wheel, to turn the corners, just the smell of it, the space of it, everything, and to really bring it into your cells in a feeling way. Once you've had that experience, it's going to be easier for you to attract it from the outside world. So in regards to love, you know, a lot of people are out there trying to manifest love, and they may not have had these experiences yet, which is most often what I find. They don't have the feelings for knowing what it feels like to be cherished or listened to or appreciated. And so they're falling a little short in their manifestation simply because they're missing feelings. So it's real important to visualize, to internalize, to do everything you can to bring these feelings into your body. And I think also on top of that, it's like, what you were saying, Apollonia, about like sending it out and then having it come back is absolutely true. But a lot of people, in particular women, kind of forget this part, and they give so much to their families. They give so much to their lovers. They give so much to everybody around them, and they're forgetting to give to themselves. And so I really want to say that manifesting is about giving to yourself first. You have to love yourself first. You have to put yourself on that list, because you'll just become depleted if you're sending everything out into the universe expecting it to come back. So remember that you are part of that universe, and remember that you have to put yourself in that equation as you're sending it out to everyone else so that it can come back.
Right. Yeah, because it's such a process.
Yeah.
And it can be so confusing as well. And that's why, you know, as coaches, that's what we do, because we've incorporated into our own lives, and we have so much and so much experience with it. And but in the biggest thing too, I want to mention, and thanks for elaborating on that, because that is so important, about showing up for yourself and putting yourself first. But everybody's walk of life is different, right? So we can just give the general aspects of manifestation, but when you truly sign up and you work with a coach that practice manifestation and does that, they can align you, and they can see exactly where it is that maybe you're not showing up for yourself, or you need that additional work, because everybody's different. Everybody has different walks of life. Exactly. Because, you know, I have people that email me sometimes that I've never worked with and say they're doing this, but they can't manifest love. But it's hard to discover a blockage without knowing the full story, without getting to know the client personally.
Right. And I love how you incorporate that in all of your videos, Apollonia, because when you're talking about, you always talk about people showing up for themselves and making their space, and being more of like, I don't remember your words, but like a high quality or a high level woman that is always incorporating these self-love techniques into their life and creating, you know, healthy boundaries and expectations for themselves. And I think, you know, that's exactly right. If people were to follow all your advice on your videos, they would be able to really incorporate a lot of these things that we're talking about right now, so they could attract it easier.
Exactly. And another thing too is, you said something in the beginning in regards to making the effort. Like for the example, you gave the example of the car, right? So go out and sit in the car, smell what it smells like, smell that new car smell, and drive it around, test drive it, and imagine yourself in that car. I mean, in that moment that you purchase the car, you're driving it around, it's already yours, kind of thing. But a lot of men and women they tend to forget that you have to do the same approach for love. So for instance, if we're talking about a single woman right now, I have a lot of single women and men that don't like dating apps because they frown upon them and they're like, I don't like it. It's everybody just wants to hook up. It's not something that I feel comfortable with. So I go into, why is it that you don't feel comfortable? Is it because people are going to judge you because you're doing this? Are you scared because your coworkers might see you on there? Things like that. And a lot of people sometimes don't go on the apps because they're shameful of it. And they also, number two, don't want to put in all that work because it does take in a lot of work. But we have to remember too that we have to show up for love so the universe can make room for love to show up in our lives. It doesn't mean that you're going to find someone in a dating app, but you're creating that space, right? So you're creating that space for love, and you are putting in the effort, you're putting in the work, and you're facing your fears head on. And that's what manifestation is about, is because every manifestation is not easy. The universe is going to throw you lessons, and it's about how you face those lessons during the process of your manifestation. And that's why I said before, your awareness is key during the process.
Well, I think dating apps are fine, as going out is fine. I mean, you're just going to increase your numbers. You're just going to allow more of the universal energy to work through other people. Maybe if you're manifesting for love, if you're sitting, at home or just doing your job or doing what you do in your normal daily life, maybe there's only one or two potential partners that you're manifesting in. But as you increase those numbers and you go on a dating app or you go out and talk to mingle to 100 people, now you've just increased it because you've brought in a pool of a much larger group to select from. So I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, exactly. And then just going out on dates too. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't know if this person that you're going to go on a date with is the one, but you're putting yourself out there enough to do it. And sometimes it does, the heavy lifting does kind of get the best of us, and it's okay to just take a pause and take a moment and take a step back, but at least you're showing up, and that's what's important.
Yeah. And you know what? I think it's important too that sometimes people get fixated on finding their one soulmate. And it's really important to know, especially now, there are so many soulmates for everybody down here, because most of us have been doing the self-work. And when you begin to do that, you activate something within yourself that calls out to your soulmate. And like I said, there's multiple soulmates. So you might end up with 5 perfect soulmates in your life, and then you're going to have to choose. But that's okay. That's fun.
That can be challenging too.
We'll do a video on that next time. No?
Yeah, right? That's so good. I love that you said that. This is what happens when you are spiritually connected and very intuitive being, because you basically just answered exactly, you went into the next thing that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not surprised, because that's what happens when those things show up. But I wanted to talk about the attachment of manifestation. So pretend like I'm trying to manifest love into my life right now, right? And I have a crush on this guy named Brandon. And I want Brandon so bad, but he is really not showing up for me. And I'm in love with Brandon. And I've been dating him for 5 months, and he is dating other people, whatever the case may be. We can make up a story. But what would you tell people about manifestation and manifesting that particular partner? Like, I wanted to manifest Brandon.
Actually, I don't advise that. I don't advise ever putting your manifestation on one particular person, because you're really limiting the universe and how love can be brought to you. So when people get fixated on one person, even if they're feeling deeply in love, but if it's not being reciprocated, something's wrong in that energy. And there's a lot of different things you can do to clear that up. But I think it's very important to pull your hook out of that person and really bring in more self-love for yourself and allow the universe to bring it into you. So manifest broader than one person. In a way that can kind of mess with somebody's free will, and just trying to fixate on one person, that you can start to, you mess with some universal laws there when you're bringing it in and just really, really focusing on one person. I know people that have done that, and it's actually kind of considered spells or cursing. And you don't want to just focus on the one. It's better to focus on what you want in the relationship, the qualities of them holding your hand or really listening to you or being very compatible sexually or being your best friend, and to continue to focus on the qualities that you want so that the universe can pull in all the multitudes of people that are going to fit that.
That's beautifully said. Yep, that's exact. I mean, I have nothing else to say because you just said it all about that. So it was great. And another thing I wanted to mention, because I know we talked about this, is some people have never seen a healthy relationship or may have never cultivated true intimacy in their life, and I was one of those. I was definitely one of those people. I came from a background from a loving mother, but I never saw a true intimacy in a relationship. And a healthy relationship. And I was able to manifest that healthy relationship, but it took a process in order for me to get there, and learning and being and showing up for who I was. Because in general, we know what a healthy relationship is if we dig and we sit with ourselves internally long enough. But I want your opinion on this too. But another thing I want to say is this is why it's so important. And I'm not saying, and I always say this in my videos, and I always tell people that, sometimes they're like, why do coaches even exist sometimes? Why do mediums even exist sometimes? It's because we're here on purpose to help, people in their lives, people in their state of life right now, or for you now, or when they go into the light, and whatever the case may be. But it's okay to ask for the direction. It's okay to ask for the help, so people can help you understand what that healthy relationship is, so you can get that true intimacy. It took me 10 years to figure it out. If I had a coach like me, it would have took me 2, maybe,
Absolutely. It's like when I want to get my body in shape, I hire a physical trainer, and my body gets in shape within 2 months. It's not like years of trying to figure it out on my own. If I want to improve my business, I get a business coach. If I want to improve my love life, I get a love and relationship coach. Because they're going to be people that really focus in and specialize in a certain area. Like you say, they're going to share all their tips and techniques to really streamline and quicken the process for everybody else. You don't have to recreate the wheel. You can benefit from somebody else's expertise, and really, grow your life in the way that you want to, in a much faster way.
Exactly. So what would you what is one piece that you would tell someone if they've never cultivated a healthy relationship in their life and never experienced what true love making intimacy was? Well,
I think, again, it's going to start with you. And, I always joke with my students, because they'll say, I'll tease them. I'll say, when you're little, and everyone, your parents especially, they say the world does not revolve around you. And then you grow up and you learn to do what I do, and you're like, oh, the world actually does. It revolves around me. Because it begins and ends with you. It really does. In your cells, in your mind, and all the parts and pieces that we're made up of, it really does all start here. So what I say when people are trying to grow in love is to really date themselves. And what that means is and this is, I actually did this myself, so I can vouch for it's being effective. But it means showing up, so not just showing up, but dating yourself. Oh, you know what? That massage that you thought was too expensive, save up, whatever it is, go get that massage. Lay in the bathtub at the spa with all the essential oils, let them pamper you, just enjoy it. Then go shopping, and then have a really nice meal. It doesn't matter if you're by yourself. You don't need a companion or a friend while you're doing this. This is actually your date. This is for you, just so you know inside you're worth it. And you're sending out a super loud signal to the universe to only attract people in that will treat you the same way. So I like to date myself if I'm looking for love. That's what I do. I don't hibernate. I don't search for it. I just start dating myself.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I went to the movies once by myself, and I was never one to act. I was an only child, and I was never one to do anything by myself. And that's weird, because an only child, you would think so, right?
Yeah.
But I remember that I had to date myself, and that's so true. And another thing is they have a lot of sexual healing, and trauma healing coaches, for women that have been through that. And I definitely would suggest any woman or man to do that have been sexually abused or anything like that, because that can help in the process of dating yourself, but you want to do the two. And I'm happy you mentioned that, because that's so important. So let's talk a little bit about believing in a feeling, right? So we're believing in a feeling, but we are not aware of what's coming out of our mouth, right? So we believe in the feeling, we believe in what we deserve, but we're out to dinner with our friends and we're like, oh, there's no good men out there. All men are creeps. All women are just such, mean ladies. I'm going to put that in a nice term, So that is a lot. This is so, so significant. And this comes down to exactly what I was talking about at the beginning, awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness is key in the manifestation process, being aware of what you're saying. So if your thoughts are aligned, your words have to be aligned.
Yes, absolutely. Because, you know, our thoughts, I mean, you get your thoughts in order. And then if you go on to a pattern and you're just talking with your friends like you normally do, and you engage in that kind of negative talk about relationships, love, or the other, you know, your partners, you're actually going to be enforcing that energy in the world, and it's going to undo all the work that you've done in your brain. So it's really important for your words to match your thoughts and your beliefs, and that just to keep reinstilling it. I mean, there's people that are just, they walk around and are like, oh, well, like my daughter, she was one, she'd be like, oh, people just love to send me money. I just love it how people always send me money. And I'm like, what? You know, then all of a sudden she gets money in the mail, and then people just walk up to her and like, here, go buy yourself something. And I'm like, are you crazy?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So when she was little, she just always believed in that, and it was always true. And so, and she was talking about it. Oh yeah, people just love to do this, you know. So why don't you just start saying like, oh, it's so easy to find a mate. It's so easy to find people to date. There's so many good men out there. I get to meet all of them. It's so wonderful to have so many to choose from. If you start to cultivate that kind of thought and those kind of words within your groups, you'll actually probably shift the whole dynamic of your friend circle, and everyone will end up happier, you know?
And sometimes when I catch myself saying something like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Words are power. Words are power. And I kind of take it back. And that's the awareness, right? So it's not saying that you're going to be picture perfect and 100% saying there is no good men out there. Oh wait, yes, there is good men. Like it's not that you're going to stop those habits initially, but you're going to become more aware and take it back. Right.
What we do is always like cancel 3 times, boom, it's gone.
Exactly. Cancel. I love that. Yeah, that's so true. I did that yesterday with someone because I was explaining something, but I didn't like explaining it. So I went cancel afterwards because I was giving a hypothetical situation. But anyways, so that's like, when we think of manifestation, I think of it kind of like a pyramid. So your beliefs are on top. Your feelings and your thoughts, right? And in the pyramid will never connect if you're not connected with each 3 of these things.
Right.
So the pyramid will never connect. The pyramid will always be disconnected. And the process with manifestation is to connect the pyramid.
Right.
And I want to go into the feelings too, about visualizing the feelings. And I always try to break it down and simplify this process as easy as I can. And sometimes with my clients, I tell them, you know, you have to think about it like this. Remember when you were younger and you have that imaginary friend by your side? Well, we grow up and we lose sight of the vision of, you know, imaginary and playing things in our imagination about, you know, what it is that we like, what it is that we want. We have this imaginary friend for years, or boyfriend maybe when we're younger, and we lose sight of that as we grow up. And this is something to incorporate back into your life when you're manifesting. It's kind of the same thing. So you pretend like it's already there. It's already with you, your imaginary boyfriend or your imaginary friend that you had when you were young, the same thing, but playing into your adult life and feeling the way that you want to feel.
Absolutely. And for me, like when I came from a family that, I remember actually telling my mom when I was about 19 and I was in love with my first husband. She had said something to me about like, well, I'm glad that you're happy. And it was very derogatory. And I realized people from her generation, they didn't put happiness first. They put duty first, they put obligation first, they put religious preference first, you know, and all these other dynamics they're not bad or wrong. It was what built strong families in the time frame, right? But things have changed now, and we're more free about all of those paradigms, and we're much more into finding personal happiness and being our authentic selves. And so we don't understand love the same way. So the way that she provided it was different. And I didn't have feelings for it in my body, so I couldn't get it from other people. If I had followed their example, I would have found somebody that was a good provider, that went to church with me, that did these things, but I would have felt empty in my heart because that wasn't working for me. You know, I really, really wanted to find the experience of love in a different way than it was displayed in my family. So I had to do all these things myself. Like I think what you were saying too, Apollonia, is that we have to learn how to put the feelings in our body for what it is that we're trying to cultivate and bring into our lives. So for me, I mean, I think I was in my 40s before I found like the theta healing, and I could download feelings right into my cells. And that really changed a lot of things for me, because all of a sudden, all these things that I was trying to do, I was able to put the feelings in, and then I was able to experience it for the first time and then really draw it in. But I know that you can do this also yourself through manifesting and through focusing on the feelings and visualizing how it's going to feel when you're with your right partner, as someone that really loves you and is holding you. And just imagine what it would feel like to be held like that and to feel so safe. You can imagine those things and also imprint that into your cells.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember there's times when I was single, I would cook dinner and do things, and I would imagine him right by my side talking to me, having a glass of wine, whatever it was. And he was always there with me. It became more of a habit. I didn't really tell anybody. It became more of a habit, and it became such a habit that there was one time I was living in Miami Beach, and it was a condo, so you take the elevators to go up to your floor, and not even thinking of anything. I wasn't even imagining at this point. It was such a habit to me that I felt that he was right there, standing right next to me in the elevator. And I looked to my right and nobody was there. And I shocked my body. My body went into shock where I jumped, because I felt it so deeply, like he was there. And then of course, spirit came into my body and said, he's almost on your way. He's almost on his way.
Yeah.
And like, I just smiled, because, and it just shows like, and it's the truth. And the more you get deeper aligned with yourself, the more you can hear spirit, the more you can hear your angels, whatever you believe in, but the viewers, whatever they believe, but it really, really works. And and that leads me into the relationship. I want to talk about a little bit about, before we end the video, about how to enhance your relationship. So if you're in a current relationship right now, how can you use manifestation in a relationship?
I love that because I work with a lot of people that are at the brink of divorce. And I'm like, a lot of times when I get in there and start working with them, I find that they aren't out of love. Some of them are actually with their most compatible soulmate, but they don't know it because they haven't healed enough stuff. They're still trying to force each other into the paradigm that they were raised with. So they're still role playing, and then they're getting upset and disappointed and feeling separate from their partner because they're not showing up like their father did for their mother, or whatever paradigm that they're using to compare to. So getting them more authentic with themselves, getting them out of the role playing and helping them to re-engage with each other is super important. And one of the best things that you can do, first of all, the awareness of that, to keep that in mind. Don't compare them to your parents or whatever primary relationship you think it should look like. Be real authentic with your partner. Know what their values are, what their habits, their lifestyles. Try to see them for who they are and love them for who they are, rather than forcing a certain pattern of behavior with them. And then every single time that they do something that is favorable for you, make sure you compliment them, and if you want them to improve and grow in a certain area, keep complimenting them in that area. And most of the time, because human beings are set up, we want to please. We want to be loved, and we want to please our partners. And so when you're continuing to give positive feedback and compliments, it really sparks somebody's interest in giving you more of that. So I think, just telling somebody how wonderful they are, how beautiful they are, what a fantastic cook they are, what a hot lover they are, whatever, it encourages them to give more of that.
Yeah, exactly. And, and expectations, I think, are huge. So couples, I don't do interaction with couples one-on-one, like couples counseling like you, but I do the individuals. I'll coach individuals more, and they can be in the same relationship, and I'll do the individuals. And what the biggest thing that I notice when I coach individuals and they're married or they're in relationships, is a lot of times they build expectations. So they have this whole idea, well, if I do it, she should do it. Well, if I do it, he should do it, right?
Exactly.
And the expectations is what decreases our love. It decreases our well-being. And also it doesn't enhance the manifestation process of our relationship to enhance love.
Absolutely. I think expectations is like the biggest love killer.
I do too.
You know what I mean? Not to say that we shouldn't have standards, but
Mm-hmm.
expecting somebody to provide all these things for you, it's, I mean, we have to think of love as like an energy. And some people are looking for, they're looking to get married, but they're not looking for the marriage, right? They're not looking to grow a relationship and stay fluid with the energy of love. And I think it's challenging for all of us humans to remember that. It's because as soon as we get involved and we kind of get a relationship locked down, we naturally start to play roles. And so it's real important to just stay as aware as possible and awake as possible, and ask yourself, like, daily, am I in the flow? Am I flowing with love? Am I giving love? Am I receiving love the way that it's flowing? Or am I trying to control it and put it in a box and shape it, you know, and put my expectations on it and destroy it, basically, you know? And you can just take that step back into the flow and just soften your heart towards your partner, or someone that you're spending time with, and just start to move into that energy of love again, where it's just like a very gratitude energy. It's very free flowing, and you can really just infuse your relationship with that energy again.
Right, exactly. And, you know, a key point that I want to mention too is, like, you know, I think when you speak, I'm here thinking, like, what else can I mention to the viewers that are probably questioning if they're in a current relationship now? And a lot of this, you know, I can give a quick example about an expectation, a small one. You know, my partner and I, when I first met him, he did not like to do the dishes. It was something that he always said he would hire a housekeeper just to come in for the day to do the dishes. That's how his big thing is time is money. Yeah. So I need to put my time somewhere where it's valuable for my need to produce money. But he's an entrepreneur as well. So, here's the thing is, we've been together for over 3 years, and I've gotten mad at him for not doing his dishes, but then I come back in and say, this is something that he was open about with me from day one. And I said it was okay. Why am I going to sit here and change him? And this is an expectation. You need to let go, and be happy. And so I do that practice. And those are, I mean, that's a small thing, expectation. It's not saying that he won't do one dish, but you know what I mean here.
Right.
I like to give those examples because they can play big in our lives when it comes to our relationships, especially when we start having children together. Maybe a partner gets sick, stuff like that. It's so important to look at things that way, but also communication, right? So a lot of couples communicate, and what they don't understand when you process something, right? So when I'm communicating with my partner, and I'm coming from a place of lack, or I'm coming from a place of resentment, or if I'm coming from a place of anger because my needs aren't being met, and I approach them in that way, automatically it's normal for any human to respond in the same way that you're putting out, unless they are in a place in their life where they can really, which is difficult to do, sit back and say, I need a moment to take this in, and not respond in that way. And it's so big that when you are in relationships and you're trying to heal a relationship or enhance love in a relationship, that you take the time to understand that both of you need to become better communicators, and sit back and see how you can become better communicators, because that can enhance your love life, but also enhance the intimacy in a relationship. I always tell when you were...
Oh yeah, no, you're exactly right. It's like sometimes we're just like, we're coming at each other from each other's triggers, each other's wounds, right?
Yeah.
One person's wounded. Yeah, one person's wounded and they're coming at it like this. The other person's going to be defensive. And then it's like you're just stuck in this tangled mess of triggered emotions rather than truth.
Exactly. And it all stems from love. And that's what, you know, everything is because one wants to be heard and the other wants to be heard because they care enough and they love you and he loves you, she loves you. And it all stems from love. So what I tell couples too is when you start to communicate in the early stages and you're trying to enhance and better your communication, is always think when you respond. It depends on the person. Like if you need a moment to walk away, you know, own that for your partner, right? So, because you can have a partner that wants to clear right then and there, and then you have a partner that likes to take time, right? Two different people. So you have to be sure that you can understand that this is what your partner needs from you, even though you like to argue or you like to confront differently. And then when it's ready, the both of you come back to a place where you say, is this coming from my head or is this coming from my heart when I respond? And that helps so much, just to have that immediate action always in your mind when you are in a place of maybe anger with your partner. Is my response coming from my head, or is it coming from my heart?
Right. And I've kind of done similar to what you're saying, Apollonia. My process is just a little different, where like this winter, I had something that was going on that was real upsetting to me, that, you know, triggered me, made me feel unloved or unspecial. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm just doing the dishes, and doing the dishes or doing the laundry, you know, running around doing errands. And I'm thinking about my stuff, and and it's like the first thing you want to do is blame or put the energy on another person for not providing what it is you need. But I kind of go into myself, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's not about them at all. This is triggering me. Like, they did something that made me feel this way, but this is mine. This is my trigger. This is my thing to heal. It has nothing to do with them or how they're treating me. This was something that needed to come up within me to be healed, so that I don't have to revisit it. So I don't have to re-attract it, basically. So I had the awareness to be like, okay, this is mine. I know where this came from. I can identify that in my childhood I experienced this, and now I know that I can clear that for myself. And as soon as I processed that, which is just, I'm thinking my way through it, the energy just dissipated. I wasn't mad at the other person. I didn't feel lack from the other. It was just like so peace, and my heart was full of love again immediately. So it just goes right back to us, right? It's like we always want to blame our partner, but mostly they're just making us aware of what we need to heal.
Right, exactly. That's beautiful. Yeah, and I'm so happy you did this. You were here with me and you did this video with me. I know that you work with women in regards to manifestation, love, and that's why I wanted to, manifestation in general and manifestation with love, but that's why I wanted to have you on this channel, because I believe in so much of what you do. I believe a lot of viewers can get a lot from you, not only with just love, but in their personal lives too. You know, I've talked to Diana, and she actually helped me with just death in general. You know, a lot of us have a fear of death, and you didn't even know that you were doing it, but just by talking to you and listening to the other world, the other side, the light, it just brought a lot of clearance into my life about, okay, this isn't that scary as I thought. It was kind of like, you know, we get scared of the unknown, but if we understand how beautiful it can be, it helps. So I would definitely always advise somebody that's watching, if you have a fear of death, reach out to Diana she can explain really what it is and how, you know, you incorporate that into your clients' lives. Also how you connect, you know, the spirits with family members, loved ones, and also help them go into the light, which is important. So if you can just kind of debrief a little bit about what I said and tell the viewers a little bit about your workshops and what you do, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually do work with a lot of people, because I've lost people very, very close to me, and I've lost a partner. And so I do work with a lot of people that are in that grieving process, or maybe they were with their soulmate or someone they very, very much loved, and then they lost them because they passed. And it's very hard for them sometimes to move on. There's a lot of guilt about falling in love with somebody new. They're not sure if they feel like they're betraying somebody that passed. And so, especially in those types of sessions, I like to really connect with their loved one and help them, because I usually find, which is really cool, I really find that their loved ones in spirit are helping them to find new love. There's absolutely no jealousy. Yeah, there's no jealousy. And it's like, it is really like, I learned this firsthand just from connecting with spirit, and then I've seen it over and over and over, and I'm like, it is really amazing. I mean, they want you to have love. You know, they want you to find love with somebody new. They don't want you to be hung up on them, because the truth is they haven't gone anywhere. They're still with you, but their role with you has been played out in this physical world. And now the rest of the role they're going to spend with you is from the spirit side, and they want you to have a physical partner, you know? And so they never leave you, but they help you a lot to bring in new love and new opportunities for growth. So that's one of the things I like to give as a takeaway. But I have creating space for love workshops where I work with the heart and helping remove the resentments. Like I said, the patterns, the painful traumas, and work with healing that, and then download new feelings for love and the ability to increase your manifestation for new relationships.
That's amazing. You have this beautiful thing about you where you explain things with such finesse, and I'm sure because it's happening with me, it can happen to our viewers too, but you know, you make everything seem like it's okay, you know, because even you, I have never lost a partner. But I'm mad. I know I found one of my soulmates, and I think he is my soulmate for, you know, the rest of my life. I'm very intuitive about this. I've actually had a connection with spirit actually tell me this personally. It was a crazy experience, but you know, there's times where I live in fear, and it's so important for me to say that, because, you know, I'm not perfect. Just because, you know, I'm a dating and relationship coach, I'm not perfect either. And I live in fear when I find this love of my life, you know, just I live in fear coming from, what happens if I lose him? What happens if he gets in a car accident? And just hearing, and even knock on wood and, you know, cancel, but even if that was to happen, let's just say, just the thought of you saying that puts that fear at ease for me, you know, just understanding that they're still with you spiritually, and they want you to be with another physical being.
Absolutely.
And that's beautiful, because even if you haven't lost, I'm sure it can help those that are, you know, in love right now with some of those fears, that it's common, you know, when you're really in love to think about.
And you don't think about that when you're younger, but like the older I get, at least, I'm thinking, I finally came to the realization, I'm going to lose everybody I love unless I go first, you know? And so, you know, so it's like, okay, so I better get used to this, you know? And so being a medium, you know, I was a natural medium, but I actually did a lot to develop that so that I could be helpful to other people and to be able to do it on purpose instead of just being shocked by ghosts at night. So all the things that I've learned along the way has just taught me that. And really like we can never leave anybody that we love. That's how powerful love is. So love doesn't ever die or go away. It just changes forms, but it continues. Just keep following it like a river, you know? And sometimes people get so upset and so distraught and feel like a failure because their relationship ended, or it didn't work out, or maybe there was a turn where one partner got abusive and they had to end it, and they have all this shame. And it's like, first thing you need to do is just get rid of the shame, blame, and guilt. Maybe that relationship ran its course. Find the lesson, find the beauty, find what you learned, and move forward into a new flow of love.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that you mentioned that. I was in a very abusive relationship in my early 20s. And I know that as long as you can take what they say, the bull by its horns, and show up for you with a purpose, and understand not to come from a place of shame, guilt, or regret anymore, you can move forward in your life. And I'm a living proof of that, for sure.
Yeah, that's why you're such a good coach. You have to go through it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm so happy we did this video. And if you stay to the very end of this video, thank you. I'm going to put information about Diana's site, her workshops, in the description link below. The reason why I had her out is because I really feel that, you know, we both as coaches can help you speed up the manifestation process in your life. But I do have a workshop that's called the Soulful Love, Soulful Life, that help women attract men in their life, and a man, a soulmate, or love into their life, which is another reason why I did this video, because I feel like if you do decide, you women that are watching this video, to take this workshop, I would always encourage you to reach out to Diana during this process, because not only in this workshop do I uncover all the subconscious things that you probably have faced, or you probably have ignored, or you probably forgot about. This all comes up in the workshop, and I think that she can be such a game changer in this workshop if you do reach out to her at the same time, if you do decide to do the Soulful Love, Soulful Life workshop.
Awesome.
So thanks for being here, and I'm so happy we got a chance to do this video together.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified every time that there's a new video posted. We look forward to your comments. Don't forget to comment below, and Diana and I will personally answer them. Bye for now.
Absolutely.
And remember, you are always loved.
Bye. Goodbye.